For nearly 3 centuries, the Galactic Concord ruled known space, from a throne world so ancient that most species believed it had existed before history itself. The Concord's power stretched across tens of thousands of star systems, enforced by immense fleets, crushing economic influence, and a reputation for absolute authority. Entire civilizations rose and fell under its watchful gaze. Yet among all the races that populated the galaxy, one species remained a mystery: humanity. The humans had arrived on the galactic stage only 200 years earlier, expanding from their isolated corner of space with surprising speed. They traded, negotiated, and occasionally fought, but they revealed very little about their true capabilities. Unlike other powers, they never displayed their largest warships. Their military doctrines remained classified. Their shipyards were hidden deep within heavily restricted systems. Every attempt by Concord intelligence to uncover humanity's secrets ended in failure. This secrecy irritated many members of the ruling council. To them, transparency was obedience, and obedience maintained order. The humans, however, refused to play by those rules. Over time, tensions grew. Human colonies prospered without Concord oversight. Human technology advanced at an alarming rate. Human diplomats remained polite, but they never bowed their heads. To the rulers of the galaxy, that independence began to look suspicious. Then came the incident that changed everything. A mining dispute erupted along the frontier between a human sector and a Concord-controlled region. What should have been a minor disagreement escalated when a Concord governor authorized the seizure of several human industrial stations. Human citizens were arrested. Assets worth billions were confiscated. The Concord expected protests and negotiations. Instead, humanity demanded immediate restitution and the release of every detained citizen. The Council dismissed the demand. They believed humanity lacked the strength to challenge galactic authority. After all, the Concord fleet outnumbered every known military force in the galaxy. What threat could one young species possibly represent? To reinforce their position, the Council summoned Earth's ambassador to the Grand Throne Chamber, a colossal hall carved into the heart of a mountain-sized palace. Representatives from hundreds of civilizations gathered to witness what they expected would be humanity's submission. The chamber was designed to intimidate. Towering pillars stretched kilometers upward. Massive banners displayed the symbols of ancient empires absorbed into the Concord. At the center sat the High Sovereign upon a throne crafted from crystalline metals older than most stars. When the human ambassador entered, whispers echoed throughout the hall. The ambassador walked calmly, showing neither fear nor anger. That confidence irritated the sovereign. He announced before the entire assembly that humanity would comply with Concord authority or face military consequences. The threat hung in the air like a blade. Many expected the ambassador to retreat. Instead, the human representative simply smiled. Then he delivered a response that would be remembered for centuries. Humanity prefers peace, but peace requires mutual respect. If the Concord wishes to understand the consequences of its actions, perhaps it is time you see what we have kept hidden. Confusion spread across the chamber. Several council members laughed openly. Hidden? What could humanity possibly possess that the Concord feared? The ambassador activated a small device resting on his wrist. Across the throne room, every holographic display suddenly shifted. Emergency signals flooded the chamber. Military officers rose from their seats in alarm. Long-range sensors from across the Concord began reporting identical anomalies. A massive object had appeared at the edge of the Throne World's system. It had not arrived through a jump gate. It had not emerged from hyperspace. One moment it was absent. The next, it existed. Fleet commanders immediately assumed sensor malfunction. Then orbital observatories confirmed the impossible. The object was real. Silence spread as the image appeared above the chamber floor. Gasps followed. Even the sovereign stood from his throne. Hanging in orbit was the largest vessel ever recorded. The ship dwarfed battleships that had previously been considered the pinnacle of military engineering. It stretched hundreds of kilometers from bow to stern. Entire cities could have fit within its armored hull. Yet its size was not what terrified the observers. It was the realization that the vessel had been there the entire time, for decades, perhaps longer. Hidden behind technology so advanced that no sensor network in the galaxy had detected its presence. Humanity had somehow positioned a warship directly beside the capital of the most powerful government in existence, without anyone noticing. Panic erupted among military advisors. Defense fleets scrambled into formation. Orbital weapons activated. Thousands of combat vessels moved to intercept. Yet before they could act, another transmission arrived. Then another. Then hundreds more. Across Concord space, identical vessels were revealing themselves, near military headquarters, beside strategic shipyards, above economic centers, around communication relays, everywhere. Humanity had quietly placed cloaked battleships throughout the galaxy, not for invasion, not for conquest, simply as insurance against exactly this moment. The throne room descended into chaos. Generals shouted over one another. Intelligence directors demanded explanations. None existed. Centuries of surveillance, espionage, and strategic planning had completely failed to uncover humanity's greatest secret. The human ambassador remained calm, while the galaxy's most powerful leaders struggled to comprehend reality. The sovereign demanded to know why humanity had concealed such power. The ambassador answered with chilling simplicity. Because history taught us a lesson. Every civilization that displays all of its strength eventually faces someone who believes they can challenge it. Humanity chose another path. We ensured that no one would ever mistake restraint for weakness. Military analysts quickly calculated the implications. Even if the Concord launched an immediate attack, their command structure was already compromised. Human vessels occupied positions that rendered traditional defenses obsolete. Worse still, scans revealed weapons unlike anything ever seen. Gravity projectors capable of crushing fleets. Stellar lances powerful enough to pierce planetary shields. Autonomous drone swarms numbering in the billions. The cloaked battleships represented centuries of technological development conducted entirely beyond the view of the galaxy. Yet the most frightening revelation was not their firepower. It was their discipline. Those ships had remained hidden for generations. They had every opportunity to seize power, every opportunity to dominate weaker species. Yet humanity had never used them. They existed solely as a safeguard against tyranny. The realization spread through the chamber. Humanity had not come to conquer the galaxy. Humanity had prepared to survive it. The difference changed everything. For the first time in living memory, the rulers of the Concord understood they were no longer the ultimate authority. The balance of power had shifted without a single shot being fired. The sovereign looked upon the projection of the colossal human battleship hanging above his world. Its dark hull reflected starlight like a blade waiting within the shadows. Then he looked toward the human ambassador. The threats were gone from his voice when he finally spoke. The arrogance had vanished as well. What remained was respect. Within hours, the detained human citizens were released. The seized stations were returned. Reparations were approved. Emergency negotiations replaced military mobilization. Across the galaxy, news spread faster than light. The day humanity revealed its hidden fleet became known as the Day of Silence. Not because of a battle, not because of destruction, but because the moment those cloaked battleships revealed themselves, every voice in the throne room fell silent. In that silence, the galaxy learned a truth it would never forget. The most dangerous power is not the one that constantly demands attention. It is the power that waits patiently in the shadows, unseen and underestimated, until the moment it chooses to step into the light. And when humanity finally revealed what it had become,
An empire that had ruled for centuries discovered that fear could travel in both directions.